And today we shall discuss about what are outliers in a data set and how to actually remove them. So this is the link I'll be providing you. This is my site and it is under construction. So just don't worry about the look and feel. Just be concerned about the matter which is being written here. And just for the theory part, you can refer to this. I'm still to upload the code which we'll be doing right now. So like it is, what are outliers? Let us just understand. There were many videos in which you were asking about that outliers were not removed, especially in the adult UCI. So yes, I've not removed the outliers in that, and that's good that you brought this thing up. So this video will be about outliers. So we'll be doing this outliers on the Boston dataset. So why I'm doing Boston dataset? Because I want you to apply this same thing to the other machine learning projects. So on Boston dataset, let's just apply this thing, how to check outliers and how to remove outliers, and how do you really understand, what exactly what outliers can do to your data. So first of all, we start with importing the basic library. So what you do is you load the basic libraries, and okay, so what I'll do is libraries and so we'll be working with like very simple libraries like pandas for loading the data set, and I don't think so we will need numpy right now. So but still, anyways, it's a practice, so just do it. And then you import matplotlib dot pyplot as plt, and import seaborn, because we'll be using these to visualize the data set, and visualization also helps us to spot the I would say outliers. So since it is loading, let's just find out, let's just load our data. So from sklearn, okay, matplotlib dot pyplot, okay, spelling mistake, pyplot, this is, I just wrote pilot. Okay, so sklearn dot datasets. Just be watchful with your spelling, because I really, sometimes load Boston. So I would import this Boston from sklearn. Sklearn has a lot of data set which we've done already, like how do you really import data. So now I would in an object called Boston, I would write here load what, my Boston data set. And after this, what I'll do is just import this Boston, right? Okay. So as you can see, my data set has been loaded, and you can see it in the form of an array. This is data and this is target, and this goes on and on. So I'm not bothered about to see this because I cannot understand what is written here. So I'll just skim through, and the Boston data set is already being done, guys. I'll provide you the link of this project so that you can go through this entire thing. That's why I'm just rushing through this basic things, so that and it will also be, as a kind of a revision for you. So Boston.keys, if you want to see, these are the dictionary keys. We have data, target, feature name, description, and file name. And if you want to just check out any of these, so just write here Boston.data, and you can see the data. Okay, and similarly you can try it with target, so or the Boston.feature name. So you would know the feature names that will make our columns. So I'll simply write here feature names to understand that these are the feature names. Okay, so I mean crime, ZN, Indus, Chaz, NOx. So these are the various description is also been provided. I explained all the data set here, and actually if you want to know what does these really mean, then these individual variables or these feature names, then simply write here description, DESCR, I think, yeah, description. So you will understand that what does this data set really is. And as you can see, RM is average number of rooms per dwelling. So Boston data set, basically it is nothing but a housing data set, wherein you have to predict, it is a regression problem, you have to predict the prices depending on these variables. Your aim can change. okay, and depending on the project you're working with. Now Chaz is what, this is Charles River dummy variable, it is in binary. This is NOx is nitric oxide concentration. So you can also figure out, depending on the nitric oxide concentration, whether the houses, what will be the price of the house, so that the target is the house prices, okay. So that becomes a regression problem, a good practice problem for people, for us to, machine learning regression problem. Okay, so I've got this described. Now, if you want really to look it, make it look nice, so I can just simply write here print boston.describe. When I use this print command, you see the difference in the description. It is giving me in a more systematic, organized manner as compared to previously when I was doing only boston.describe. So this is a better way to, see and visualize the data and understand the variables. So this is the target. Median value of owner occupied homes in $1,000. Okay, so now after having discussed the description, just have a rough note on like 13 numeric or categorical uh, variables we have, and number of instances is 506, as you can see. But my data set has not been arranged in the form of row or column. Okay, so what I will do is now. Okay, so let's just understand. We will first then now let us just convert the data into the pandas data frame. So I will use these my pandas here, which is very useful to see your data in your in the form of rows and columns. Okay, so what I'll do here is simply in an object called df, I will write here pd dot data frame. Okay, and in here I will write what do I want in this data frame. I want Boston dot data, and I also want columns here. Okay, right, and then I want here, in that columns, what I want is I want Boston dot feature names. Okay, so the feature names, these data would be given one and one, column. Okay, so you will have name for each of the columns here. Okay, now let's see how does it arrange. I am rushing through it because I'm just want to come to outliers. Okay, so now can you see this? So this data has been given a specific column, and our data set has been arranged now in a form of a table format, which is easier to analyze and make further analysis. Similarly, you can find df dot shape to understand like this. These are is the data set being correctly organized? Like yes, we've got 506 rows and 13 instances of variables here. So as you can see this thing, but can you also see that we don't have target here? Okay, target has not been included, only data has been included. As we have seen here in the dictionary, the keys, we have only got target here, but we have not got the we have got the data, but we've not got the target. So let us include the target also here. How do you include target? So I would include the target. Let's include the target again. All right. So it sometimes become overwhelming to type, write, and do so many things simultaneously. So just pardon me for these spelling mistakes. Sometimes it is quite a task. Okay. So you've got df, then I would in target, what do I want in this? I want Boston dot target. Okay, so see, Python is so simple that you just write here Python dot target, and your this thing would be arranged in the same thing. So now let me just check whether it has done something or not. Okay, close. So you write here df dot head and check it. Okay, now can you see this, that the target is being here. So this 24 point something, that simply means 24,000 because it was in dollars. Okay, so this is how we have checked, and now you can also see the shape of your data. So this is like df dot shape, and when you see the shape, it is 14. Okay, yeah. Now I would come to the outliers part. This was a simple this thing. Now, the way to figure out the outliers are very simple. How do you explore the outliers? Let us just explore outliers. Whether can we really find it out or not? What I'll do is I would simply, skim through the data, or I can just, either in the spreadsheet or exploring it here. I can understand the outliers. How do I do that? I would simply write here df.describe. Now this is a statistical the domain I am entering into, so that's why statistics is a little important, because you understand the figures and what do they really mean here. Yes, we'll be doing histograms also. It's coming up again and again. So let me just tell you. Okay, so what happens in describe is that I get the minimum and maximum value. I get the mean here. So when I read this mean, I understand the variation in my data, how evenly distributed it is. Is it normally distributed or not? So let us just take one. Okay, so I take this crime. Minimum is 0.0063 and maximum is 88. Can you see the vast difference between the two? And in between, you can see that 25% value is like 0.08 to 50% is this, and 75% is this. And the mean and standard deviation is, like 8.6, which is huge. Mean is 3.6. So that means I can figure out that in this 506 values, there are outliers. The data is telling me this thing, but until and unless I'm so sure about my statistical part, until and unless I visualize this thing, I will not be able to confirm with assertion that there are outliers present. How would I communicate this result to a person who does not understand the statistical terminologies, that this is mean, this is standard deviation and stuff like that? So what I use it graphical representation of my data to understand the meaning of outliers. So another way is to figure out is graphical representation. Okay, and this graphical representation is, pardon me for my spelling, I'm not correcting it right now. So this is the graphical representation. You do it either via histograms, or either you do it via box plots. So or you even use these scatter plots for this. So what I am referring here is that histograms and box plots, they are used for univariate variables, or univariate your column, or an individual feature. So univariate means only one you can see, but in scatter plots it can be used for analyzing either more than one, that is either two variables, wherein you can definitely see the relation between the two. So it is for multivariate, right? So that is what it is being written here, that what are outliers, and the causes of outliers could be sampling problems or natural variation data entry. Why is it a problem? How to detect? And now by coming to ways to detect outliers, we have said the sorting of the values. Now we will see the graphical representation, box plot and histogram, and then we'll come to the scatter plot. Okay, and then we'll go to a few things which are statistical in nature, that is z-score and hypothesis testing, and also the IQR. So it might be a little long video, but just stay with me and be patient, guys. Alright, so let's just come to histogram. Alright, for my I would say the univariate this thing. So I will write here, this is the unimodal data visualization. So what happens in this unimodal data visualization is that I write here df in histograms df.hist. So this is simply I'm making use of the library of Python, that is matplotlib. So this really helps me out to set things right. I will just here set the figure size as 12, and let's see the histogram. Why I included this semicolon, I've explained time and again that it just eliminates the description which you get here, and you can just check it without this also. What happens is that, see, can you see the difference? So these small things make your sheet little neat. Okay, so what happens here is that it has just laid it in a grid form, and it has given me all the distribution of the 14 variables, as you can see. Now see, I can make out the distribution of this chart. This is the dummy variable. It is having only two values, 0 and 1. I will skip it for my regression problem, because I want to find out the continuous variable, and I also want to find out the outliers now. So let's take this crime. Now, can you see this crime? I can see the distribution. Most of the values are lying between this value 0 to, I don't know what is this. If I increase the bin, I would be able to zoom in a little further. But for that matter, just I want to get a rough idea about the outliers here. So I can see, yes, there are outliers. Can you see here? This range, more than 50 to more than 75. So there are outliers here, even here. Now, when you go into another this thing, you see here in taxes also you've got outliers, because you do not see a normal distributed curve here. You see uneven distribution in various in all these, you know, variables. See in the age distribution, you see this DIS, you know, or you see this RAD. So we have got outliers as a rough estimate. We have just concluded that yes, through these figures we can find out indeed this is the black population residing in that area. So you can see that yes, we've got outliers in here also. Okay, so this graphical representation is one of the way and most popular way to find out the outliers. It is just finding the outliers. We are not yet came to removing those outliers. That would be fast, because it would be just I will say in a line of code that would be done. But let's just understand what does this really mean first of all. And I don't want to show you what I have done down, so just stick with the box and whiskers plot. So we will just write here df dot plot what. I'm using the kind, and this kind is equals to, okay, box plot I want. So you can use while and plot also. It gives you outliers and also the distribution, but it becomes at times difficult to understand the while and plot. So it's better to be plain and simple, right? And the layout, what I want is in a grid form. That means okay, layout, it will throw an error otherwise. Layout, it is 4, 4. That means I want 4 rows and 4 columns. That is how it would be arranged. And font size, sorry, this font size is 8. And let's set the figure also so that it becomes visible. So let's set the fig size, and this fig size would be 12, 12. Yeah. Okay, and semicolon. Let me see. I hope it doesn't throw an error. Okay, yeah. So now, as you can see, we've got a lot of outliers in crime, as we have already concluded before by reading the statistics and also with the histogram. ZN has index is good. It's evenly distributed, a little skewed towards the right side. Now, what does this box plot really mean? I will explain you in a short while. And this DS also, you've got little outliers here in RM. So you can see these circles which represent, which are outside these whiskers. These are called whiskers, okay? The tail, the whiskers. So these outside dots or diamonds or whatever you get, these are outliers. That means there are certain values which are stands out from your data, which shows some another behavior, or you have to figure it out whether it is really important for your data set or not, or whether to removing it would really eliminate some crucial information from your data or not. So that's why outliers play a really significant role, which has been dealt here also. What are the significance of outliers? So you can go through that. Now we will come to another part, and that is multivariate plots. Okay, so what I am doing here is I'm simply using this okay, I will just include rough estimate this. And now let's just do the multivariate plots. What is this multivariate plots? I am just using scatter here. Okay. So now what I'm doing is I am simply plotting this. First, let's understand what I'm doing, and then I'll explain you this plot. So I'm using this scatter plot for finding out the the relation, or how what is the relation, how do they really uh, affect each other, the distribution. On here I've got the full value of property in taxes, and in the X label I have got non-retailer business acre per town. Okay, so as you can see in the scatter, index and tax. Okay, so taxes is on the y-axis and this is on the x-axis. So this is what I've laid down in X and Y axis, and I have set the axis title also here, X label and Y label. That is all. Three things have been done here, and the figure size has been laid out. Okay, and when you see this diagram, it shows like this. Now again, you can find out a few outliers here as compared to the taxes and the second variable, that is the index, okay, the river, and how does it really affect the pricing of the house. So you can see that there are also outliers here, okay, non-retail business, and you can find the property tax here. So this scatter plot can be inferred that we have got a few outliers and how much correlated they are. I'm using another term here, that is correlation, but we're not going to correlation right now. This is the another figure which I used here for NOx, that is the nitric oxide and the taxation, how they are linked and what relation can we find out whether they move in the same direction or not. And I find here that you can see this value, okay, something lies far beyond your data set, much of them is scattered here, and you can see a few, I don't know what is this, okay. This is the full value property tax rate per $10,000 and the proportion of non-retail business acres per town. Few of the values are lying it over here. So I don't find any good particular specific pattern, but what I can infer is that yes, when you've got this actually this could be changed here. This is not tax, but this is like NOx. Alright, this is NOx. Just copy pasted this. I just copy pasted this. Yeah. So the proportion of the nitric oxide and how is it linked with your tax or the property value. So the lesser the amount of pollution, the more the amount of prices would be there. So yeah. Okay. So this is what you can infer through these plots, and with various plotting libraries, sophisticated libraries, I would say, having advanced features, we can really make it interactive also, either LTR or Plotly. Okay, now coming to different measure, and that is now I'm coming to the z-score. What is this z-score? This is nothing but it is for finding the distribution of data where mean is 0 and standard deviation is 1, and that means the normal distribution, and data points are far from 0, then we shall see what does this mean. What I do is for using the z-score for my outliers dataset, I have to import a library called from the SciPy package of Python. I will import this stats. Okay, this will help me to calculate z-score. So what I'll do is I would simply in an object called z, I will write here np.abs stats.z-score. What do I want to calculate the z-score for? df, that is my data set, and I will print this z. Now, can you see this? Are you able to make any sense out of this? See, I was not able to make any sense out of this. This is just an array, a list of collection of some decimal dot values, up to 6 or 7 decimal values. That's all we can say. Now, how to make sense of it? This is now, I will write here threshold equals to, I will give it a threshold to make sense of it. I'll take, usually the standard is to take 3, and then I will explain you what does this mean, but first let us understand the results, and then we'll go do reverse engineering. So now np.where, okay, now I'm using this np, and from np.where I will write if it is greater than 3, okay, so you print when z-score is greater than 3. So it has printed all the values in an array format where this threshold value is greater than 3. Okay, now still I am not able to infer what is this. Okay, so what does this really mean? I will show you here. So this z-score is, see, in most of the cases we take threshold as 3 or minus 3, okay, and if it is greater than or less than 3, the data point will be identified as outlier, okay. So that is what we are getting. These are the outliers here. Okay, we got this value. Now, okay, another thing which I want to tell you is, okay, so I've written it here also. Okay, just a minute. Now, let's make more sense of this data what we've got. So what I do is I've got these two arrays, array of 55 and array of this thing. Okay, so I simply wrote here array print z, that means I want the z score 55 and 1. Let's take these values and see what it gives me. It gives me 3.3750. It gives me the z value, z score of this and this array. That means these two elements I just gave the position. That means the 55th element and the this thing row. Okay, so this is what it is. Okay. Similarly, I can also check with other values, and I can write here print. Suppose you want to check about this row, like suppose you want to check about 438. Okay, right, let's just write here 438. And so do you have to map it? I don't know, let's just check. And 1, and if I write here 3, let's see what it gives me. So this value, I have written the column and then this is not an outlier because it is not giving me that value. I have to map this 438 with the respective value. Do you understand my point? Okay, so this is the another discovery here which we've made. Now let's just understand. Okay, let me print something which the value they have given, and let's just stick to the z values, these scores, the array, and the rows and the columns. Let us just write this 466, and this is the row, and the column could be this 11 because I can see easy to figure it out. And you can see that yes, the z score is greater 3.6. So I have got all the values. I identified all the outliers with the help of a z score. Okay, so one task has been done, that we identified these outliers with the help of z score. Now coming to another way of detecting outliers is through IQR, and that is called interquartile range. Okay, now this interquartile range is useful for for the construction of the box plot. So these things are interrelated, and now we will understand how does this really help to identify the outliers, and we will also understand the box plot diagram which is derived from this only. So this IQR is also called the mid spread or the middle 50%. So this technically means that it is also called edge spread, and with a statistical dispersion being equal to difference between 75 and 25th quartile. Okay, and the formula is Q3 minus Q1. Now, see, Z score, you can go with the theory part in this thing, and I'll also provide you the link which will help you to understand statistics more nicely. Okay. Okay, so okay, hypothesis testing, I will do it. First, let's understand this IQR practical this thing. Now, can you see this box plot? This is what the diagram looks like, and this is IQR. Through IQR, we understand the whiskers, we understand the range and the outliers. This is Q1, this is Q3. So IQR, this IQR is 75 percentile minus 25 percentile, and this median is 50 percentile. Okay, this is the median 50%, and this is the value lying 25%, and this is the values lying on 75%. Now, if I want to find the maximum extent of it, what I do is the formula is Q3 plus 1.5 into IQR. Now, why am I telling you this formula? Because we'll be using this thing now. So you need to understand a little bit theory, though it would be a little boring, but we will be applying this thing. Just understand the formulas, that the higher range is calculated by this formula Q3 plus 1.5 into IQR, and the lower range is being calculated by Q1 minus 1.5 into IQR. Okay, so you use this plus minus 1.5 into IQR to find out the extreme the whiskers of it. These are the whiskers, left whisker, right whiskers, and this is an evenly distributed. If it is greater towards this side, we say that this is left skewed, and if it is higher towards this side, we say that this is right skewed. Okay, most of the values lie which are higher than Q3. And what else does this IQR or this box plot tells you? Now, whatever the values lie here, we saw this thing, right? Whatever values lie here, outside this whisker, where is my box plot? Outliers. Okay. So whatever values lie here outside this thing, these are outliers. That is how we detect it in the graphical representation rather than going with the formula. But now we will be doing the statistical part because we have to remove the outliers. Okay, so you should know the formula. So this is what this curve, the 50 percentile, 25 percentile, 75 percentile, and the IQR. It has figured it out and it has plotted the data points. Okay. All right. So now coming to the IQR part of it, and after having done this, I would simply what I want to do is I want to first of all make a copy of my data set, and that is okay. I make a copy and I just store that thing because I'm applying this IQR. It's always good to have a copy. Okay, if something goes wrong, at least we have the original data set. So now what I do is I will simply make here an object called Q1, and in this Q1 I will store what my data set, that is df001 dot quantile. What quantile is this? That is like 0.5, because see I have to use the formula, so I will use this 0.25 and I will use the 75 percentile. So and I will give the name as Q3 as the quartile 3 because I am going to use it here in the formula, as you can see here. So let's just define this formula first, and then you've got df1 dot okay, what is this quantile, and I will take here as 0.75. okay, and then let's just give this IQR, because then what I want this, I'm simply writing a mathematical equation, that's all, Q3 minus Q1, and then what I will do, I will simply write here print IQR. Okay, yeah, okay, I got values of all the IQRs of all the variables here. Okay, so this is the IQR I found out as 3.5. I have found the IQR. That means, guys, I found this entire the range, but now I want to find the outliers. So for that I have to find these disperse. Okay, so now I go ahead and I find these disperse through this um, formula. That is, if d1, if my data set is greater than Q1 minus 1.5 into IQR, and again I can apply a condition, and if it is greater than Q3 plus 5.5 into IQR, then you print my data. And as you can see, false means that it is not an outlier, and true means it is an outlier. Okay, so I got an error also, big error, because they have not included target here, but I have included target here. So okay, this is how you get the outliers. Your this thing would run, don't worry. But if you have any problem, just let me know. But you got the basic idea. It has given me here that false and true, okay, for different variables, as you can see here, right? Okay, all right. So now we shall go to removing the outlier. Coming on to removing my outliers, what I do is simply in the same object, I will write here if my, now this is removing outliers through z-score. Okay, through I am using the z-score for this. I'm using that value. What I do is in an object called df underscore 01, which is O1, and if the threshold is again greater than 3, dot all x is apply this thing and you remove those outliers. Okay, that is what I will do. Okay, now if I want to check it, see why I made a copy, you will understand this thing more clearly because I'm using here df dot shape. Just be very careful here. Df dot shape is what? 506 rows and 15 columns. Now what I want is I want to show you something which is okay, I don't want to show you this. I'll hide this. Okay, and I will show you this dot shape. Okay, this is not dot, it gives error. Okay, so now can you see the outliers been removed, and this is, what is this, 415 rows and 14 columns. Okay, yeah. Now what happens is Okay, now I will just eliminate so that we can come to the IQR part of it. And what does this IQR? Okay, what is happening? IQR. Now we will remove the outliers with the help of this interquartile range formula. Again, I make an object, and now this time I make a different object. This is df0, and that I store my original data. Okay, I made a copy of it. So it is always good to make a copy, because if I'm using different formulas, I have to show you the shape also so that you understand the difference between it. Make it, store it. And now what I want is, again, an object called df out. You can give any name to this. You remove this outliers. So what I'm saying is that I am using a condition called not, okay, because I want to remove those things which are not included in this formula. That means I am eliminating all the outliers which are not in this range, this entire range. That means I would simply get an evenly distributed box plot. Again, my box plot, I tend to, yeah. So I am just removing all these outliers, and I'm just getting this box plot. So I'm including that, not these, the values which are not coming under this quartile, this whiskers part, remove them. Okay, this is what has been put in this formula, right? Just if you read this minutely, you would understand this thing. Again, I use this and condition, and if it is in any excess, just remove it. Okay, this has been removed, and now what you do is, again, see the shape of it, out dot shape. Okay, now you see it has removed more values. My data set from 506 has become 268. Now here comes the question whether removing all the outliers, so whether you should remove all outliers or not. So this becomes a very important question for the statisticians and the analysis part, that you understand that you don't have to remove all the outliers in the data set. It is not necessary. You have to study the data closely, minutely, and then remove the data. Go on removing the outliers. It is not that you will remove everything which just falls outside your quartile range, IQR range. So I'll read this question, and I would like to hear more of the answers. That will you remove all the data set, all the outliers from your data set, and why you would not remove it? Discuss any of the data set with me wherein you have not removed the outlier and you have got good predictions. This would also help other people who are seeking the question on removing outliers or not, because this is what makes very important part of your feature engineering, wherein we spend a lot of time in exploring the data and understanding each figure, whether or you can say the numbers, whether to do, if I remove that number, whether it will cause a problem to my data set, or if keeping it would really make my data more diverse. So it is a statistical, okay, this is not a code, this is a markdown. So this is a statistical challenge, and over with experience and with more and more of practice, we understand how to deal with data, actually how to deal with this number. So yes, keep practicing and learning, because even I am understanding how to really, which data which to figure it out and which not to keep, which one to keep. So, and some data set I keep it and some I don't. So yeah, your ideas, your answers would be a great help for all of us. Just mention it there. I'll provide the link of this thing, that yeah, significance of outlier, it is there. That I given an example here of significance of an outlier when you want to really truly estimate the salary, and you want to make some real policy decisions of your organization, wherein the salary of a VP is 10 times or 20-25 times higher than the normal employee. Would you remove the salary of a VP, or would you keep in your data set? So there are certain questions which you want to address, the aims, the objectives to be kept in mind before dealing with outliers in your data set. So again, I would say my site is under repair, but you would find this data set or this blog published, And yeah, I would see the comments either here or on the on my YouTube channel. So yeah, this was it for this video, and let me know if you want another, if you have other questions regarding feature engineering and stuff like that. But I will provide all the necessary links, videos, and the sources where I have found these things out, so that it becomes more informative for you all people to understand outliers. And if there is any like problem in this video, do let me know. If I have made some mistake, I would be happy to correct that. All right, and yeah, thanks for watching.